Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today on my channel, I tried to tackle a tough one. I've got these two here in these enclosures here, and they are let me just try and see if I can get this right, Melognathus species, South Mindanao, the South Mindanao tree tiger. And they're an arboreal spider, and I've got two. One you can see is this side. You can't see the spider at the minute, but it has brought the substrate up to here, and they are juvenile size. So they're about this big, I'd say 2 inches just plus. And this one lives round the back, still fossorially right down there in the bottom. So there's the enclosures, a bit of moss in there, a bit of cork bark, a water dish, and that's what they look like. And they're very, very nice. But the problem I have with these two is trying to feed them. I can chuck a cricket in and the cricket will run around, and then later on in the evening, they'll come out and they'll get them, but I'll never see it. And I've not seen these since last year, really, until I've moved them in to the new spider room. And what I wanted to do with the rest of this video, which you're going to see, is footage at night time. So you'll see me filming in red light because tarantulas can't see in red light. So I could put that on quite bright and they won't run in, because as soon as I turn the lights on in the room or have the lights on the shelves, they just disappear straight away, boom, gone. And they don't venture out. And what they'll do is they'll sit up above their little web hammock that they've built, and they'll just have their feet out and wait for something to touch it. The crickets do eventually get up there and touch it, but it takes a little bit of time. So what you're going to see now is me filming with the red light, but just bear in mind it's the first time I've done it, so I'm trying to get used to how the red light reflects off this and it comes back onto the camera. But you do see the spider. I'll point it out for you, and then I do traverse into normal camera. But what I've done is it's took me a couple of weeks of basically just getting them used to this. Lifting the lid, lifting this, dropping crickets in, and then leaving the lights on so they get used to it. Then I've gone with the red light, lifted this, dropped the cricket in, and then come back in half hour later, see them coming out to try and find the cricket, and then I put the red light on them, just getting them used to it. And then once they got used to that, I was doing this every day. Then I brought them down here, put them on the desk, and then it's easier for me to see, maintain, and then literally just do this very, very slowly. But even that, if you could hear that, that puts them off and they run off. So then I'll just leave it like this, and I would sit in here in the dark for about 10, 15 minutes, go out, come back in, and then you'd start seeing them come up on the glass. And that's when I started doing the red light with the camera and then trying to introduce the cricket myself. And I've actually, after 2 weeks, I managed to get this one. In fact, I've got both of them the other day. I've got this one to take on camera, and I put it to normal light so you could see it, but they're not fully out, but you could see they're a good size and they're absolutely beautiful. But I think what they'll do is they'll start coming out and venturing around more once they're out in the open, when they get, I'll probably say about 3 inches, because they are a arboreal tarantula, but they live fossorially at the minute like many of the species do. There's loads of other arboreals that live like this. I had an arabicola that just stayed down right in the substrate for ages until it got to like 3 inches. So this one started to come up, getting bigger. But when I saw this one last night, it's actually bigger than what I thought. So you see them both on the camera in a minute. But just bear in mind, it's just a night camera. You will see some footage of them in a second in there, but it's only going to be a short video. So just sit back, enjoy, and I'll try and talk you through what I was doing. So enjoy that. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment below, and I'll see you on the next video. So enjoy the next bit.
So as you can see, I'm still trying to get adjusted to using the red light. The tarantula can't see the red light at all, which is brilliant. But obviously me trying to film in the dark with the red light, with the reflection, it's not great at the minute. But you can see the tarantula right there, right where I've highlighted. And I love the way it looks really jet black. But what I've been trying to do is just get it used to every single day. So it's took me weeks of doing all this every day, a couple of weeks, every single day, just coming in the evening with the torch, getting it used to it. And then what you'll see is you'll see me put the normal light on in a second. So I want to get it to the point where it can stay out with the normal light and not be freaked out. So that is my main aim. And I do get to that point. and I managed to get to the point where I could take the lid off, and then I could try and feed it with the tongs, because these are so skittish and they just run off at any bang, any noise, any breath, anything at all. But they don't really come out in the day yet. They're juvenile size now. I've got two of these. But if you see there at the middle of the screen, I've got the crickets climbing up onto the top of the enclosure. I'm trying to wait to see if I can see that it takes, and you'll see some movement slightly in a minute. But this has took me like, I think, 4 or 5 days of this process, and then I take another week after this doing it every single day to get to the point where I can leave the lid off and it stays out. So persistence does work. They do get used to it, and then I can flip from the red light to the normal light, which I'll do in a second, and they actually stay out. When I first did it, they didn't stay out. They just darted off immediately, and then it would take about half hour, 40 minutes for them to come out again. But if I knocked anything, it just would just disappear. So about 4 to 5 days to this point to get it to stay out with the red light on, because they are aware of your presence. If you move or breathe too hard, then they know. I think we're going to get a little bit of movement here. There we go. So it tried to get the cricket. The cricket's just gone down on the webbing, but you can't really see it because of the red light. I tried to move around and get better visual, but I'm still learning at this point how to get the shots with this red light. But as you can see, the tarantula's not disturbed at all. So then I come back, but I think I'm going to try and flip this now to the normal camera just to get it used to staying. There we go. So I did it, and normally for the first couple of days it would dart off at this point. You can see all the waste on the enclosure there that it does, but I managed to get in a little bit closer, and you can see it's a juvenile size, good 2 inches. Beautiful coloration, and it has pink toes as well, which I'm absolutely amazed about these. And then I just turn it back. So I only did it for like 10 seconds, then 20 seconds, and so on, to stay with the light on. So you'll see some footage in a few minutes time where I managed to take the lids off and keep the light on, and they stay there and they don't freak out. So it took me all in all about 2 weeks, I think just over 2 weeks, to get it to the point it would stay out with me right next to the enclosure, then with the lid off. Then I can feed it on the tongs, which you'll see in a bit. But I just think it looks absolutely cool with this red light, and I can view everything in my room with this red light, and everything stays out, nothing darts off. It's absolutely brilliant. But there you go. I banged off the side of the shelf, and that was it, disappeared. So let's see to a later couple of days. Okay, so this is a week later, and I've been doing the same process of what I've discussed. This is the one that's living more fossorially right down at the bottom, and it hardly ever comes out. I never see it really run around the enclosure, but you can see the movement of the feet. You can see it's a good size there. I've gone in closer, like just from the legs, but I'll get some close-up footage of it as much as I can in a minute. But let's just get back to the other one, because I'm determined to get this out. So as I said, it's been days now of doing this, and I've got it down. You can see the room's dark, and I just keep persisting and persisting, but I think we'll get something here. And there you go. That's normally all you see, but that was the very first time it took from me off the tongs. So then I've managed to just keep persisting and staying there with it, putting the light on, and it didn't run off. And I had the lid off, and this is the very first time it did it. So I think I'm going to try and see if it would take another cricket in a second from me, but I was just amazed by the colors. You can see the little pink toes there slightly as well, and I got it to that point that it stays out. So here's me just trying to grab another cricket and just going to drop it down in to give it a double feed in, make sure this one's nice and plump. But this is the one I see run around the enclosure at night, but now I know I can do it with that red light. It's absolutely amazing, so I'm really, really happy. Thought it would come and take off the web again, but it didn't. It's aware of the light because I'm on normal light mode now. So it's just dropped down and it's took 2. So back over to the other one, and you can see its feet there poking out. And I love the shiny undersides of its feet, but this one is so heightened to the fact that the torch is there. It will not come out. It won't even feed with the torch on. I managed to get it to feed off camera, but I'm just glad I got to show you these. So that is that species that I've not shown you before. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed.